You've seen the call-outs. You've seen the hype trains. Jake Paul has taken on a retired NBA player, a washed-up UFC champion, and a fellow YouTuber, building an empire on carefully selected challenges. But now, the conversation changes. Now, the script is thrown out the window, because we're no longer in the world of spectacle. We're stepping into the ring with a predator. The question hanging over this potential megafight isn't about winning, about scorecards, or about who has the better trash talk. The boxing world is asking one single, terrifyingly simple question. A question that Jake Paul's team must be losing sleep over. Can he even survive? Can Jake Paul last just 3 rounds, a mere 9 minutes, with one of the most devastating pound-for-pound punchers on the planet, Gervonta "Tank" Davis? To understand the sheer magnitude of the challenge facing Jake Paul, we must first dismantle the myth and look at the cold, hard reality of Gervonta Davis. This isn't just a good boxer. This is a man whose left hand is considered a legitimate weapon, a fight-ending stroke of violence that has left a trail of world-class fighters unconscious on the canvas. Davis is a product of the brutal boxing gyms of Baltimore, molded in the same fire as legends, and his record isn't just undefeated. It's a highlight reel of destruction. Over 28 professional fights, he has stopped 26 of his opponents. That's a knockout ratio of over 92%. But the statistics alone don't tell the story. It's the who and the how. He didn't just beat Leo Santa Cruz, he separated him from his senses with a single uppercut that became an instant classic. He didn't just outpoint Ryan Garcia, he broke his will with a crippling body shot that showcased his fight IQ and pinpoint accuracy. Davis possesses a terrifying combination of otherworldly power, blinding hand speed, and a predator's instinct for finishing a hurt opponent. He isn't looking to win rounds, he's looking to end nights, and he does so with a chilling efficiency that is the stuff of nightmares for any man standing across the ring from him. Now, let's turn our attention to Jake Paul. To be fair to Jake, his journey in boxing must be respected for what it is. He has taken the sport seriously, dedicating years to training. And he has shown legitimate power in his right hand, the problem child right hand that has put down the likes of Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren. He is a phenomenal athlete and an even better promoter, understanding the business of combat sports better than most seasoned veterans. However, there is a canyon-like difference between the level of opposition he has faced and the reality of Gervonta Davis. Jake has built his record against non-boxers. Nate Robinson was a basketball player. Ben Askren was a wrestler with a surgically repaired hip. Tyron Woodley was a 40-year-old MMA fighter well past his prime. His fight with a boxer, a faded Tommy Fury, ended in his first and only loss. And in that fight, we saw critical vulnerabilities exposed. Fury, who is not known as a powerful puncher, managed to score a knockdown against Paul. What was revealing was how Jake reacted when he was genuinely hurt. He showed heart, but he also showed the defensive flaws and the lack of ingrained muscle memory that a lifelong boxer possesses. He doesn't have the decades of amateur experience that hardwired defensive reflexes, the subtle head movement, and the footwork to evade danger when a true killer like Davis smells blood. This brings us to the core of our question, the 3-round survival. To answer it, we need to break down the specific dangers Davis presents that Jake has never encountered. The first and most obvious is Davis's hand speed. Jake is used to trading with opponents who are slower, more predictable. Davis's punches, particularly his straight left hand, come from unorthodox angles and with a speed that is disorienting. You don't see them until it's too late. The second danger is Davis's counterpunching ability. Jake Paul likes to lead. He likes to be the aggressor and throw his looping right hand. Against Davis, this is a suicide mission. Davis is a master at luring opponents in, creating a false sense of opportunity, and then firing a devastating counter that his opponents simply walk into. We saw this perfectly executed against Ryan Garcia. Jake's aggressive style plays directly into Davis's greatest strengths. The third, and perhaps most psychological danger, is Davis's body attack. Jake has not faced a dedicated, ruthless body puncher. Davis's shots to the liver are not just painful, they are debilitating. They sap the will, the legs, and the oxygen from your lungs. Can Jake's conditioning and body conditioning withstand that kind of punishment? The kind that doesn't just aim to score points, but to shut the entire body down? Let's play out a hypothetical first round. The bell rings. The crowd is electric. Jake Paul, full of confidence, comes forward, trying to establish his jab and look for that right hand. Davis is calm, composed, his eyes locked. He's not brawling, he's calculating. He's studying Jake's rhythm, his footwork, the tell before he throws his right hand. Midway through the round, Jake throws a combination, maybe even lands a glancing shot, but in doing so, he leaves himself open for a fraction of a second. That's all Davis needs. A lightning-fast, short left hand straight down the middle catches Jake on the chin. It might not knock him out cold immediately, but it stuns him. It wobbles his legs. For the first time in his boxing career, Jake Paul feels a power that is alien to him, a power that short-circuits his nervous system. The rest of the round becomes a survival game as Davis swarms, looking for the finish. If Jake makes it to the second round, he is a wounded animal. The confidence is gone, replaced by caution, maybe even fear. He's now hesitant to throw, knowing that every time he commits to a punch, he risks walking into a bomb. This plays even more into Davis's hands. With Jake now gun-shy, Davis can become the aggressor. He starts cutting off the ring, something Jake has never had to deal with against his previous, slower-footed opponents. Davis begins to dig thudding hooks to the body, each one making Jake grimace and slow down. The cumulative damage is setting in. The question is no longer if Jake can win. It's if his body can physically withstand the trauma for another 6 minutes. The pace, the power, the constant threat of the knockout punch. It's a psychological and physical torture that he is completely unprepared for. By the third round, the outcome seems almost inevitable. Jake is fatigued, not just from the punches, but from the immense mental strain and adrenaline dump of facing a genuine threat. His hands are low, his movement is sluggish. He is a stationary target. Davis, knowing the finish is near, is methodical. He doesn't wildly chase, he stalks. He sets traps. And then it happens. Perhaps it's another body shot that doubles Jake over, leaving him vulnerable for a left hand to the head. Perhaps it's a feint that makes Jake flinch, opening him up for a clean, unanswerable shot. The result is the same, a highlight reel knockout that echoes through the sport. The experiment of Jake Paul versus a real, prime, elite-level boxer concludes in the most definitive fashion possible. So, after breaking down the film, the styles, the power, the experience, and the intangibles, what is the final, truthful answer? Can Jake Paul survive 3 rounds with Gervonta Davis? Based on all available evidence, the cold, hard, and unbiased conclusion is that it is highly, highly unlikely. The gap in pure boxing skill, defensive IQ, and most importantly, the level of destructive power is simply too vast. Jake Paul is a good athlete who has become a competent boxer against a specific level of opposition. Gervonta Davis is a generational talent whose sole purpose in the ring is to dismantle and destroy other professional fighters at the highest level. Surviving 3 rounds would require Jake to fight a perfect, defensive, and frankly, cowardly fight, something his ego would likely never allow. And even then, it would only take one mistake, one single lapse in concentration against a finisher like Tank, for it all to come crashing down. This potential fight isn't a competition. It's a public display of the natural order of the sport. A stark reminder that there is an ocean of difference between a celebrity boxer and a born killer.